Hey guys, it's Captain Ridge Murphy here, and today we're doing a little maintenance on our riggers. So I wanted to talk about a couple things that I do a little differently that I've learned from guys over the years. It's pretty simple, it's not hard. I didn't come up with any of this, I just passing the knowledge on. So what you're gonna need is some 400-pound Moy's rigger line. We like them in white, that's just how we do them. A couple sets of clips, R&R tackle clips, some 2.2 crimps, some balls to keep it from hitting the top of the rigger, and because we're running triple halyards, we're running 2 clips and a teaser, and this is made by Harkin, and you can get it at West Marine. We got our rut pulleys, and they've already been strung out. So what we're gonna do now, before we pulled it out, just to keep it nice and clean and easy, we replaced all the line. We're gonna take our balls with our crimpers. We need 2 of these, 2 crimps, 2 of these rubber plastics that go over top, 2 balls, and 2 clips. Now, what we like to do is we'll make up these clips already made up. Now this one's for the long because we like to kite fish. It's a 3-way swivel, and this is where we clip on our halyard for our kite fishing. And then this would be your regular short, like always. The one thing I like to do before I put the rigger out in fishing position is just go ahead and get your long strung out, get everything strung out, and put your clips on where you're gonna do it. Now, the one reason why I do this is because half the time, if you don't have any weight on this line, and it goes and you stick it out there in your fishing position, it's gonna be hanging out there, and if you're by yourself, it's hard to get to, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. So with the weight from the clip, it'll swing and you can grab it, and it's a little easier, because you will drop it. What we're gonna do is we'll put the ball first, and we'll put our rubbers, and then we're gonna need to put a crimp. If you're having a little bit of trouble putting it through the crimp, take your cutters and just cut it at a little bit of an angle. It'll always go through a little bit easier. From there, we're gonna take our clips that we've already preset. Just make little tiny clips that allows it to slide and swivel through there. You put some swivels here. These are Aussie swivels. We put them on there just so it's nice and streamlined. They don't get caught up in the kite line. We're just gonna come back around, try and make it as tight and streamlined as possible. Come over here with our crimpers and lock it down. When it's all over with, what we'll do is we'll slide this rubber over top, nice and easy. Try and push it up against it. Get it as tight as we possibly can. Put some super glue on here and some super glue on that nice crimp. And that'll keep it from popping off, and then when you get your kite line spun up, it won't get all up all over it. And we're just gonna do the same thing with the short. So take our ball, go first, and take the rubbers, put the rubber on. And the one thing about the R&R clips is they swivel, and they have a little fitting right here with a little ball. When you go to make them up, make sure you don't lose this bead. And this bead is going to go on the bottom, so that way when it's out and it pivots with your turning and everything else. It's pretty smart. Ray Rocher's a smart guy. So we're having a little bit of trouble putting that one through the crimp. Just gonna come back up here, cut it at an angle, slide it nice and through, and just make sure that bead's down there on the bottom. So because we're doing the longs and we're doing the tops of the riggers, we're gonna have it facing this way, where the bead's gonna be on the bottom, and this is gonna go to the rigger. And guys, you can do this with it in the fishing position. The only reason why I don't is because I know that once I put it out there, I'm by myself, it's just gonna be a little bit more of a pain in the butt. So at least now, with the little bit of slack that I have, I can wrap it around the handrail, and then that's there, and I can adjust from there. So. And now we're good. You go ahead and put it up in the fishing position. I'm gonna take the third one though, put it on first. So you got your long clips, you got your short clips. Now we're gonna do the third halyard for the teaser. Same thing, ball, rubber, crimp. And we're just gonna go around this one. Go around twice and back through like that. You just come back with our cutters, and if you cut it at a little bit of an angle, it makes it pretty streamlined. So we'll just take the rubber, slide it down over top. Now that we gotten everything on there, we got a little bit of weight, everything's set, we're gonna just walk back, make everything nice and tight. That way you can grab it, because you know it's gonna come out when you go to slide it over for fishing position. Go ahead and go up on the base and put it where you want it as far as fishing position. With these taco bases, I like to just have them all the way up. The angle's pretty good for that. Slide them out. That's exactly why we do them beforehand, because now we have enough weight here and the length to keep them from flying out of the boat, and you can grab it. Luckily enough, that one for our teaser is close enough that I can reach it with a gaff. So we've already had our rigger lines made up. We're just redoing them. We're redoing everything. So we already had this made up with the, normally I do it with 1/4-inch rope. When I went to buy it, we didn't have it at the store. So this is a little bit thicker. So we're gonna put it where you kind of want it. I try to keep the halyards to where I can reach it. So let's just say that's our distance. We're gonna mark it here and then tie it off nice and tight. So it's right here at my ear. That's kind of how I like it. You can put it down on the gunnel, you can put it up on the top. I'm just short. I like it close to my face. I like it close to my ear. That way it's easy to grab. So now all we're gonna do is start tightening up these riggers to where it's easier to manage what you have. Okay. Anytime you're doing something and you're doing it by yourself, the easiest way to get it done is trying to be organized. Now, I'm not the most organized person, but it's easy to just go ahead and say, all right, I know I'm not gonna need all this slack. I got my long here, that's the distance it's gonna be. It's gonna be actually a lot shorter when we tighten everything up. But I got my long, I got my short, everything's nice and organized. Let's go ahead and cut about, let's say that much off. But the one thing you don't want to do, guys, is cut too much off. You cut too much off, then you done screwed yourself. So we got our teaser rigger halyard tied up. We're just gonna go ahead and start with the long. Okay? Now, we're gonna get one of those rubbers and another 2.2 crimp, and we're gonna do the same thing. The easiest way to do it, guys, is just you start with the long, go to the middle, and go to the short. Don't confuse yourself and go and do it all over the place. So we're gonna put it through the crimp. We're gonna run this through and back through the crimp. Now what we're gonna do is just start pulling on your halyard, and that's gonna tighten it up. And you're gonna have to have a feel for it. You know, you're gonna want your riggers tight, but you don't want them too tight to where you can't slide them through the halyard. And then once you get it where you want it tight, or where you like it to be tight, you just slide the crimp all the way up. And that locks it down and puts it in a nice position for you. From there, just make sure you have your rubber before you crimp it down, because once you lock this down, you're kind of committed. You like the distance, you like where it is, make sure everything's nice, because once you start with the first one, everything else is going to have to be even according to that one. So I'm gonna like this one the way it is, and we're gonna go ahead and crimp it. So we're gonna lock it down, make sure it's nice and tight, just like you did on the first go around. And then you can start trimming away some of this mess. So come back here again, and you're gonna cut it. Now you have your long halyard. Slide that rubber up and over that crimp. We'll go back and super glue in a minute. So I got the long one out. Now I gotta do my short. We're gonna do the same thing. Make sure you get get one of your rubbers, get a 2.2. Rubber goes on first, then your crimp, and then you start tightening it up. Now guys, the one thing you don't want to do is have it where if you start tightening down your second halyard or your short, you don't want to have it too tight, because then you'll have a lot of slack in your long. You want to try and find that same happy medium between the two where the tension is about the same. Or if they're the same amount of tension, you can always tighten it up here on your actual rope itself. So we're going to find the nice tension, about the same. And it's easy to just kind of feel for it, just tap on them. And we're going to go ahead and cinch it down. And after that, just start cleaning up the mess. That leaves us with that last one. That's our teaser halyard. Rubber goes on first, then your crimp. Just want to make sure everything's nice and straight. Go ahead and go around. And then we're just going to put some more tension on there. Slide that crimp up as tight as we can get it. And we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to tap them all. Just make sure that we have it how we really want it. And that's how you do that. Come back up here. Cut that off. Now you got your long, your short, teaser halyard. Everything's nice and smooth. You like how it is, you're gonna pull them all down. And you just gotta go to town on the super glue. So the one thing you don't want to try and do is make too much of a mess. So I just like to use the little back end of this that the super glue package came in. And we're gonna put a nice bead of super glue on both sides of the crimps. And then just slide these rubber pieces right over top. Clean it off. And we're just gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just slide that little rubber piece up. Put a bead of glue on everything. And guys, don't get ahead of yourself. You know that super glue dries fast, so if you try and do them all first, just do them one at a time, nice and easy. Go back, get this one. I'm just gonna clean that up. The one thing you don't want to do is slide it up past the swivel to where the super glue gets in the actual swivel, and that defeats the whole entire purpose of doing this. Put a bead right there. You're gonna get super glue on your hands too, don't be scared. It'll happen. Alright guys, there you have it. That's how we like to do the riggers on this boat. There's plenty of other ways to do it, but that's just the way we think is best. Hope you guys learned something. If you guys like videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe and check us out.